10 years, lakhs of students, and a single examination that has decided the entry into the medicine field. Yes, we are talking about the NEET UG examination. This examination has changed the story every year, and in this video we are going to compare the 10 years analysis and predict the 2026 pattern for the RE-NEET 2026 examination. We'll be comparing everything from the theoretical questions to the different other varieties of questions to the level of the paper in this video. Stay tuned with this video. Do not forget to subscribe to Medical 360. And also we are thankful to SRM University for sponsoring this video so that we can bring all the information and update to you quickly. So in this 10 years of NEET UG examination, we'll be comparing and we'll be majorly talking about the AIIMS 2015, RE-AIIMS 2015, NEET 2024 and RE-NEET 2024 and NEET 2026 examination. And on the basis of the major examination and the re-examination, we'll be predicting what sort of level RE-NEET 2026 examination will be having, what type of questions RE-NEET 2026 examination will be having, and what is the percentage of NCERT dependency of RE-NEET 2026. If I talk about that number of questions, there will be 180 questions in your RE-NEET 2026 examination. For the year 2024, there was a change in the pattern and therefore there were 200 questions in each of these papers. If I talk about the number of easy, medium and hard questions, if I talk about 2015 and RE-AIIMS 2015, there were 93 easy questions in the first paper or the cancelled paper and 87 easy questions in the re-examination paper. 70 questions that were medium level and 77 questions in the medium zone again in the re-examination, and the number of hard questions was almost similar. If I talk about NEET 2024 and RE-NEET 2024, 135 questions were in the easier section in the cancelled paper and 84 questions were in the easier section in the re-examination. 58 questions were present in the medium zone and 102 questions were present in the medium zone in the re-examination. And if I talk about the difficulty level increased drastically, where there were 3 questions that were in the difficulty zone in NEET 2024. In RE-NEET 2024, there were 14 questions that lied in the difficulty zone. So overall, if you see, the difficulty has been either consistent or it has continuously or drastically increased. If I talk about NEET 2026 and if I predict for the RE-NEET 2026 data, there were 18 questions that were present in the difficult zone or that were considered as hard. So we are expecting that there will be 17 to 18 questions or 18 plus questions that will be lying in the difficulty zone or hard zone. Next, if I talk about the easier questions, the number of the easier questions might decrease and the number of medium questions might stay consistent or might increase. So this is an analysis, a quick analysis of the re-examination happening in 2026. Here's a subject-wise analysis for the easier, medium and hard percentage for the AIIMS, RE-AIIMS, NEET 2024 and RE-NEET 2024, NEET 2026. If I talk about the NEET 2026 examination that was conducted on 3rd of May 2026 and was cancelled, if I talk about the physics section, the physics contained 49% easier question, 47% medium questions and 4% difficult questions. If I talk about chemistry section, it was mild or moderate, 33% easier questions, 53% mild or moderate questions and 13% difficult questions. And if I talk about biology section, there was 34% easier question, 54% medium questions and 11% difficult questions. So we are expecting somewhat similar or a slightly increased data for each of these, especially in the difficult questions if I talk about RE-NEET 2026 examination. Next, the question type distribution. If I talk about the theoretical questions, which are factual, descriptive based questions, which are based upon either examples or straight NCERT lines, there were approximately 67 theory-based questions that could be directly answered, easily answered. If I talk about the numericals, there were 39 questions which were numerical based in NEET 2026 examination. Match the column, there were 29 questions which were based upon match the column. Statement-based questions, 26 questions were statement-based, where there were multiple statements provided and you had to select the number of correct statements, true or false statements. Reaction-based questions, there were 9 reaction-based questions. Next, diagram, there was just one diagram based question. If you see the pattern, continuously the number of questions which are diagram based has drastically increased from 2015 to 2026. If I talk about the number of theoretical questions has also drastically increased from AIIMS 2015 to NEET 2026. This clearly means that the examiners are setting a question paper which is less theoretical and more application based or more understanding based. Next, if I talk about the number of numericals, it has mostly been consistent. The number of questions in the match column section has increased. Statement-based questions have gradually increased over time. Next, reaction-based questions have been consistent. Diagram-based questions have drastically decreased. Graph-based questions have almost been consistent if I talk about NEET 2026 examination and compare it with the AIIMS 2015 examination. And example-based questions have also been consistent or lesser in number. So, the major conclusion from this data is that your paper will be less theoretical and more understanding based, that will challenge your critical thinking. So if you're just reading the NCERT lines, cramming the NCERT lines, it is not going to be enough. You need to thoroughly go through the NCERT, properly go through the NCERT, and not just the text, the diagrams, the tables, the exceptions, examples, everything should be properly covered and understood, remembered and recalled during the examination. Next, we have the comparative table describing the dependency of the papers of NCERT. And we have for AIIMS 2015, if I talk about biology, biology was highly dependent upon NCERT. Theory dominant biology was there. If I talk about chemistry, it was 60% NCERT based and physics was 30% NCERT based. If I talk about AIIMS and compare it with AIIMS 2015, again it was similar, 88% NCERT based. The graph was almost similar. So you can clearly see that AIIMS and AIIMS 2015 both were probably or consistently NCERT based to the same proportion. If I talk about NEET 2024 and RE-NEET 2024, again the dependency of the NCERT of both the papers was almost equal, 80 to 82% in biology, 55 to 58% in chemistry and 28 to 30% in physics. And one more interesting thing over here is that the NCERT dependency has slightly increased every year in the re-examination. Next, if I talk about NEET 2026 and the predicted level of RE-NEET 2026, if NEET 2026 is 78% NCERT based for biology, 83 to 87% of the biology will be NCERT based for RE-NEET 2026. 52% of the chemistry section in NEET 2026 was NCERT based. Expecting a similar data, 55 to 58% of the chemistry in NCERT, 55 to 58% of the chemistry in RE-NEET 2026 will be again NCERT based, and 28 to 30% of the physics will be again NCERT based in RE-NEET 2026. This was the dependency of the NCERT in all these major examinations as well as their re-examination. So I hope by the end of the video you're clear what kind of questions you will be getting. The paper, again, as I said, and I will be concluding again, that the paper will be less theoretical and more understanding based, that will test your critical thinking skills. Subscribe to Medical 360 for more such updates. Thank you for watching this video.